Good morning and happy Sunday. Today is the first Sunday of our new Lenten series called Holy Vessels. And we start our service this morning by taking a breath and stepping away from the outer and turning within to the inner, where we know that there's only one presence, God. And God is health, and God is life, and God is healing and wholeness, and I am all these things as well. And so are you. So please join me here in this place where we find that presence of God.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to our community of love and light as we joyously express God's greater vision in our lives. My name is Shannon Hoff-Smith, and it is my honor to be assisting Reverend Joanne on platform today. Just please know, whether you're the street next over, the city next over, across the globe, we feel your presence and we're holding you in prayer. So thank you for joining us this morning. In Unity Spiritual Center, we are a lot more about just this Sunday morning experience. We are about transforming lives, and we have so many opportunities throughout the week. If you would just check out our website, we have a lot of classes, book studies, courses. Check it out, and because we're about building together in community and connecting with each other. So please take advantage of that. Oprah Winfrey, she said that Eric Butterworth's book, Discover the Power in You, actually transformed her life. And now we have the opportunity to transform our lives through the principles shared in this book with a program that Reverend Joanne is going to be facilitating. That's going to be a 5-week study, and that's going to start next Sunday, the 28th, and it's going to be in the Zoom from 12:30 to 2 p.m. So consider that. Registration is also available on the website for that. So speaking of connecting and belonging, there is a new opportunity for the women in our community to join in community. We're going to be starting a women's group, and that's going to be meeting every Wednesday, the first Wednesday of every month, and it's going to be at 7 p.m. The first Wednesday is going to be March 3rd. So with that first meeting, the women are just going to be talking, dialoguing about what they want to see this group be about, how we expect that to serve us, meet our needs, and that type of thing. So you do have to register on the website in order to get a link for the group. So again, for the women of the community, please consider joining that. It's just another way in these pandemic times of reaching out, connecting with your USC community. So please check the website for these and all of the other things that we have going on, keeping us connected through these times. And now let's join Bonnie and Jerry for our opening song.
Well, I love it when we pick new music for a series, and like usual, I pick a song, and then as we work on it, it's in my head already, and I can't stop singing it. It's a fun song called Song in My Soul by Karen Drecker and John Hoy. And this song is such a chant. It's such a great affirmation. Once it gets in your ear, I hope you will just affirm, I am whole, and I am healed, and I am loved, and I am joy. So this song is going to be pretty easy, and you will get it. It's not going to be hard. I'm going to sing a verse, and then I'm going to point to you, and you sing a verse, and then together we'll just affirm and affirm and affirm. So I hope you will love it. Song in My Soul. Here we go. healed, I am healed. Ears, I am loved. There is a song in my heart. It sings, I am loved. It whispers in my ear, I am loved. There is a song in my heart. It sings, I am loved. It whispers in my ear, I am loved. 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 You do it twice. I am loved. I am loved. I am loved. I am loved. Now joy. There is a song in my soul. It sings of my joy. It bubbles up from deep within. Pure sweet joy. There is a song in my soul. It sings of my joy. It bubbles up from deep within. Pure sweet joy. I am joy. I am joy. I am joy. I am joy. Your turn 2 times. Joy. I am joy. I am joy. I am joy. Last verse is love. There is a song in my soul that sings, I am love. A beaming ray of spirit's light. I am love. There is a song in my soul that sings, I am love. A beaming ray of spirit's light. I am love. 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 Last time, twice. I am love. I am love. I am love. I am love. Affirm. I am whole, healed. I am healed. I am loved. I am joy. Do that again. Whole. I am whole, healed. I am healed, loved. I am loved. Joy. I am joy, joy, joy. I am peace. I am well. All is well. I am well. Woo, you did great. We're going to get it as we go along.
The daily word for today is let go, let go, let God. And the affirmation is, I do what is mine to do, and I release the rest. Over the years, I have accepted more and more responsibility as I've grown in my maturity and my experience. I have also grown in wisdom, and I'm now able to discern what is mine to do. I have learned what to take on and what to leave for others. I have also learned not to exhaust myself by taking on too many commitments. Perhaps the most important, I know when to use my will and determination to make things happen and when to let go. I recall times in my life when I felt frustrated that events did not unfold the way that I had expected. I can now see that they unfolded perfectly. Often it was better than I could have imagined. I now let go easily, trusting in that perfection. The scripture for today is from Acts chapter 17, verse 28. In him we live and move and have our being. And even some of your own poets have said, for we too are his offspring. The affirmation once again, I do what is mine to do, and I release the rest.
As we center into our time of meditation and prayer, think of your body as a vessel, holy, whole. Sometimes it may feel broken, and it's those times we need to focus in on our awareness of our oneness with God, open in our body and in our soul. Then we can allow that healing love of God to come. I'm going to sing it through once. Vessels, holy and whole, broken, needing the one, open, body and soul, come. Try it with me. Vessels holy and whole, broken, needing the one. Open, body and soul, healer, come. Open, body and soul, healer, come.
Thank you, Bonnie and Jerry. For our meditation today, if you have had the opportunity to come by Unity Hall and pick up your Lenten bag, you will have found some beach glass in there. And I'm going to invite you, if you have a piece of beach glass, to pull that out right now. And if you don't have a piece of beach glass, that's what the power of our imagination is for. I'm going to invite you to imagine a piece of beach glass then in your mind. And so right here, right now, I invite you to look at that beach glass, either in your hand or in your mind's eye, looking at its edges, seeing where there still might be some roughness, some places where the edges have been worn smooth, still some translucence to the beach glass where you can see through it, observing how thick the beach glass is. And then in your mind, holding the question of where in my life are my edges longing to be worn smooth. And holding that beach glass in your hand, I invite you now, if you've not already done so, to close your eyes and to feel a warmth begin to arise at the core of your body. Imagine a warm orb of light deep within you. This warm glow begins to emerge from the recesses of your inner being to fill and flood your whole body until your skin is glowing with it. That light radiating from within you outward. You are filled with light. You are surrounded by light. Feel that light wrapped around you like a warm blanket of assurance. And in that warm blanket of assurance, know this: God's love and grace fills me and surrounds me no matter what. I am a precious, holy vessel right now. That light of Christ is a treasure that I can find deep within me. It's here for me, for you, for all creation. Take a deep breath with me and allow this truth to fill you. And as you breathe out with a relief of assurance. God's love and grace fills me and surrounds me right now, no matter what. And we rest briefly in the silence of that assurance. As the warmth and light of that assurance fills you and surrounds you, it cannot be contained. See it radiating out from you to your family, to your neighbors, to your community, to your country, to your world. See it spreading like the rising sun. And as you hold this image in your mind, let this be your peace. That light that is in you and in me and in all creation is there to smooth our rough edges as we allow it to be. And in that place of loving reassurance, we now move to our time of community prayer.
In this river of well-being, where God's love has broke forth from our heart and filled all of us and all around us and our friends, our family, everyone, let us take this time to pray for those people. Let us take this time to say the names of those for whom we have love and concern, joy and passion for. Mike, Joanne, Shannon, Kristen, the board, my brothers and sisters, neighbors. And this beautiful blessing that God has given us, we hold our dear friends and family, and we just see that beautiful, pure, positive energy of God filling them, loving them, and meeting their every need, and we give thanks. Dear Creator, I desire to hear you, to love you, to create with you, and I enjoy doing all things with you. I am a spiritual being, ever unfolding in the light, love, and wisdom of God. God guides me to take the high road that leads to true understanding and fulfillment. I cultivate forgiveness and release any blame or resentment. I forgive myself for any perceived shortcomings. Peace and harmony are mine as I let go and let God fill my heart with love and compassion. Dear, sweet, holy Creator, thank you for this beautiful day. Thank you for my brothers and sisters. And thank you for this time with you, this time of prayer and communion. My name is Marilyn, and I'm available to pray with you after the service. And that is done by your going to our fellowship Zoom room. And there, Reverend Joanne will ask if there's anyone who would like prayer, and she will create a private Zoom prayer room. And one at a time, we'll say prayers together. I wish you peace today, and I hope you enjoy praying today and every day.
Oh, thank you, Dedre. I feel a healing moving deep within. Can you feel it? Feel it, that movement of spirit. So this is our first Sunday of Lent and our first Sunday of a whole new series called Holy Vessels, a series based on healing and based on healing miracles from Jesus. And as I said during our meditation, we are using as kind of our anchor image for this pieces of beach glass and gathering them together. And I want to start with a story. So we're all aware that there are two creation stories in Scripture, in Genesis 1 and in Genesis 2. But in the Jewish tradition, there's a third creation story that Rabbi Luria told in the 16th century. It's an idea known as Tikkun Olam. And in this creation story, God creates vessels of not God. And within those vessels of not God, God places divine light into those vessels. Those vessels of not God cannot hold that divine light. And so those vessels shatter into pieces of shards of glass. And those shards descend onto earth and they're scattered throughout creation. And what our job is here on earth is to restore those shards of light, gathering them together to see that divine light here on earth. And so we have, as our image behind me, you'll see a vessel of glass that holds the light, in which we're gathering our pieces of glass and restoring God's kingdom here on earth. And we do that through this series by focusing on healing, on wholeness. And of course, in unity, healing, and wholeness is the foundation of our teachings. Unity began as a healing ministry. And so it's very appropriate as we move through this time of Lent to be in that question: what in my life is coming up for healing at this time? Like those shards of glass at the beginning of creation in that story of Tikkun Olam, for many of us, this past year has felt like our lives have broken apart. Normal disappeared. And we've been seeing how can we walk through this time from that place of remembering the truth of what we are. So as I said, I'm going to be sharing with you during this series some healing stories from Jesus. And the first one this week is coming from the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 8. Now, chapter 8 begins in the Gospel right after Jesus has spoken on the Sermon on the Mount. So he's been up on the mountainside, raising the consciousness of the crowd to the truth. And then this starts, this story. When Jesus had come down from the mountain, great crowds followed him. And there was a leper who came to him and knelt before him, saying, "Lord, if you choose, you can make me clean." He stretched out his hand and touched him, saying, "I do choose, be made clean." And immediately the leprosy was cleansed. And then Jesus said to him, "See that you say nothing to anyone, but go, show yourself to the priest and offer this has got to be an error in my script here because it's not the fit that Moses commanded, but an offering that Moses commanded as a testimony to them." So I want to start by giving you a little historical context to that leper at that time of Jesus. We now know that the disease of leprosy is not highly contagious and easily healed, easily cured. At Jesus' time, leprosy was just any skin disease. And it was obvious when you had a skin disease. It's not something that you could pretend wasn't there. Everyone could see it. And so the priest in the temple would declare you unclean. And you would be banished from society. You wouldn't be allowed to be with your family, with your friends, or within the circles of society where things were happening. You became a beggar, begging for your food, hoping that someone would give you an offering. And it was only the priest in the temple who could once again declare you clean. Without going into a lot of the history of the purity codes of that time, there was a real need for that idea of cleanliness. You couldn't be made unclean before you went into the temple, and there were many things that would make you unclean, and touching a leper was only one. You'll recall the story of the Good Samaritan. Laying on the road was a man who had been beaten by highway robbers, and the priest came walking by that man, and they would not touch him. They ignored him because why? They would be made unclean by touching him. And they were heading to the temple. They would have had to ritually purify themselves and make themselves clean again. And so they ignored that one lying on the road. So that idea of purity, of cleanliness was a big part of society at that time. And so it's very significant that when the leper came to Jesus and said, "You can choose to make me clean," Jesus said, "I do choose." And not only did he speak the word, "be made clean," which he does in many healing stories, but this time he reaches out his hand and he touches the leper, symbolically and literally showing that we are not made unclean by touching something that we have been declaring as being unclean. We are not to ignore compassion and open-heartedness to those that we have decided are not worthy in that moment of a touch. And in that moment, I have absolutely no doubt that what Jesus did was see this leper in his mind as he was in absolute truth. Whole, holy, filled with that divine Christ light. And as Jesus said, "Be made clean," and saw him in that place, the leper healed because he caught a sight of that vision that Jesus held for him. "I'm clean," and he touched me. And then, of course, Jesus tells him, "Now go to the temple," because the priests now have to declare him as clean. So I've been thinking about that this week, how that relates to experiences we have in our own world. Although we now know that leprosy is easily curable, there are diseases that have created those same kind of constructs in our society. And one that obviously came to me this week as I was contemplating it was in the early 80s when AIDS first came on the scene. And at that time, I remember a great fear because we didn't really understand a lot about it. And there was a fear about, hugging someone with AIDS, you might get AIDS. Kissing someone with AIDS, you might get AIDS. And many, many men and women with AIDS died alone in their hospital beds, or perhaps surrounded by others of their friends who also were experiencing the same disease. And today yet, there are likely remnants in our society that, although we know better today, still hold at a distance those with AIDS. I think about communities. Remember, in this story, the spiritual community of these lepers banished them. Said, "You cannot come into the temple. You are unclean." And who do we leave out of our temples and churches because we've decided by our societal standards that they are not worthy to be there? I've had an experience where, someone who not here, but my previous church, who came in smelling, looking homeless, created so much controversy because I welcomed that someone in our community. And others wanted to have them move on. In fact, ours was the only church this particular couple was still welcome in. Because as spiritual community today, we still decide you are worthy to be here and you are not worthy to be here. You are clean and you are unclean. I think about our own spiritual community. Unity Spiritual Center has declared we are an inclusive community. We welcome everybody as you are. Knowing that Christ light is within everybody. Knowing that you are being drawn here to remember the truth of who you are. And so we include everyone. But at the same time, I wonder where each of us is at within our mind within that inclusion. You know, we are a community that welcomes everyone no matter what your state of health, and yet I have had people tell me in this community, I have not been feeling well, I have not been at my best, and I don't want to walk through those doors because I don't want to face judgment about why are you experiencing this illness? What in your consciousness drew this illness to you? And that sense of judgment has kept them from walking through these doors. I've spoken to that, right? That idea of metaphysical malpractice, that somehow you are responsible for what is happening to you. So what in your consciousness has drawn this to you? And I've invited us to not go there, to not judge in that way, because we don't know why any of us is experiencing the outer effects that we are experiencing. But what we know for sure is, in spite of any evidence to the contrary, the truth of us is that we are whole and holy right here, right now, and there's nothing that we need to do to make ourselves more whole and holy. As an inclusive community, we have welcomed everyone. Our family who is LGBTQ, we have welcomed them. Come. And yet, I've had people say to me, you know, I don't have anything against gays, but do we have to talk about them? Do we have to talk about them? Yes. Yes. Because we are a welcoming community. We keep our hearts, our minds, our spirits open, recognizing the truth of each one. And there's nothing that you need to do or not do to be welcomed here, to be accepted here, to be loved here. These are some of the thoughts that I've had around these ideas from this story, from Scripture, of the ways that we still today exclude rather than include. And we are called to include, to bring together every shard of the divine light that is within all, and open our hearts with compassion, because that is the way that Tikkun Olam tells us we will heal the world. Now, this week in particular, I want us to focus on the healing that takes place within our body temples. Of course, this has been a year filled with a worldwide pandemic. Perhaps you or somebody that you love has gone through that. Perhaps you or somebody that you love has fully healed from that. Perhaps you or somebody that you loved is still experiencing the long-term effects of that. Perhaps you or somebody that you love has died from that. No matter what of those scenarios, or whether you don't know anybody that has had COVID, although that's getting more and more rare, what we know with absolute certainty is that in spite of appearances, each and every one is whole and holy. And what I want to say to you is that unity supports all of us in healing. And that might be different than curing. Healing and curing are not the same. So I found a beautiful story that I wanted to share with you to illustrate that. And this comes from a minister in a time when he was in a church in Oregon, Tony Campolo. He was asked to pray for a man with cancer. And so Campolo prayed boldly for the man's healing. That next week, he got a telephone call from the man's wife. And she said, "You prayed for my husband. He had cancer." Campolo thought that when he heard her use the past tense verb, that the cancer had been eradicated. But before he could think much about that, she said, "He died." Campolo felt terrible, but she continued, "Don't feel bad. When he came into church that Sunday, he was filled with anger. He knew he was going to be dead in a short period of time, and he hated God. He was 58 years old, and he wanted to see his children and grandchildren grow up, and he was angry that this all-powerful God didn't take away his sickness and heal him. He would lie in bed, and he would curse God. And the more his anger grew toward God, the more miserable he was to everyone around him. It was an awful thing to be in his presence. But the lady told Campolo, after you prayed for him, a peace came over him. A joy came into him. Tony, the last 3 days have been the best days of our lives. We've sung, we've laughed, we've read scripture, we prayed. Oh, they've been wonderful days. And I called to thank you for laying your hands on him and praying for healing. And then she said something incredibly profound. She said he wasn't cured, but he was healed. We're talking healing in this series. In spite of any appearance to the contrary, we know we are whole and holy. And this body that we inhabit is simply a vessel for that light of Christ that is within us, inviting us to allow it to express through us. And that as we do so with and for one another, hearts open in compassion, recognizing within each one, you too are that divine light of God, we allow healing within our own individual life, within the life of our greater community, within the life of humanity. Unity offers a very specific formula for experiencing that place of healing. From TruthUnity.net's Correspondence School, Series 1, Lesson 2 on healing, we read, health is real, abiding, eternal, unchangeable. Health or wholeness is every man's birthright. Remember Myrtle Fillmore's affirmation that she received, I am a child of God, and as such, I do not inherit sickness, because our birthright is one of wholeness. So the first step to be taken toward healing is repentance, or a change of mind, a turning away from the belief in things as they appear, and a turning within toward God, and then making the necessary changes in conduct. Healing of ourselves may require some action. It may require us listening within to the wisdom within for what is ours to do. You know, Unity has not taken the approach as Christian Science has, both of us coming out of those same New Thought roots. Christian Science has said you may not go to the doctor, and Unity says you may use your inner wisdom and decide what it is in the outer world that you need to use in order to demonstrate that wholeness. And so we listen within. What is it? What is it that I need to do to support my body in demonstrating its wholeness in the best way that my body is able to do so in this moment? Is there a change in the way that I'm eating? Is there a change in the way that I'm moving or exercising? Is there a change in the way that I'm thinking that will support me in more fully demonstrating the wholeness that I am in spite of any appearance to the contrary? That is our invitation this week. To focus on that physical body, to make the choice. I choose, be made clean. I choose, I see my wholeness. I choose wholeness. I've inherited wholeness. So our spiritual practice for this week. When Jesus came down from the mountain, he said to the leper, I choose, yes, I choose, be made clean. How will you choose to support the physical aspect of health in your life? Is there an area that you are being invited to focus on? How does it currently feel in your body, mind, and spirit when you consider this area of physical health? What can you do to relieve this, even just a little? What necessary change can you make to more fully realize the abundant life and vitality of God within? I'm inviting you to make that choice and commit to your physical health this week. And those of you who have received our Lenten bags, who have received your pieces of beach glass, who have received the Zen garden, what I'm inviting you to do is to hold that commitment within that glass, to make that your physical sign, if you will, to place that within your Zen garden as your reminder. And over these last weeks of this year, we've talked about contemplative practices. To take time each day to sit with that Zen garden vision of health, of wholeness, of healing with your commitment that is represented there within that piece of beach glass. And to turn within to that Spirit of God, to find that place of holiness within you, to restore that light of God within you so that you can open your heart in compassion to each one you meet and see the light that they are as well. It begins, as it always does, with self. Now, I want to invite you to one other thing, and that is that I'm counting on all of you. Because you see, what we are doing in this Lenten series, what I'm imagining we're doing is we are going to be building our living cross with your stories of healing, with your stories of deepened understanding, with your stories of contemplation. And so at one point this week, it's not there yet, but it will be. There will be a form up on our website that you'll be able to link from our Sunday service page. And on that form, you can let me know, Reverend Joanne, I've got a story I want to share with you. And then I'll be in touch with you, and we can meet in the Connecting in Community Zoom room, and I'll record you in your story. And I'm counting on you because this is going to be our living cross of resurrection. How are you resurrecting during this Lenten series? So as you are inspired, as you have a story that you want to share, I'm going to invite you to our website to fill out that form to let me know so that we can create those recordings. And the second piece is, whether you have a story you want to share or not, to begin working with those Zen gardens, and at some point to take a picture of yours. You can be as creative as you want. You don't have to stay with the supplies that we've given you. You can add to it. You can create this Zen garden however you'd like. And I'd love to be receiving the pictures of those Zen gardens as well throughout these next 6 weeks. Let us together restore the light of God here on earth through Tikkun Olam, to opening our heart with compassion first this week for ourselves, to recognize the holy light that we are. Thank you, and God bless.
Heal me, O my soul, heal me. As I let go of the worry And as I let go of the fear, heal me, oh my soul, heal me. And into the silence, heal me, and in every way, heal me. So I would love it if you would sing along with me as you sort of catch it. Here we go. Heal me, oh my soul, heal me, as I let go of the worry, as I let go of the fear. Oh, heal me, oh my soul, heal me into the silence, heal me in every way, heal me, heal me, oh my soul, heal me as I let go of the worry. Heal me, oh my soul, oh my soul, heal me as I let go, as I let go of the worry, the fear, as I let go of the fear. Oh, heal me, oh my soul, heal me, oh my soul, oh my soul, heal me into the silence, into the silence, in every way, heal me, heal me, heal me. Let's do that one more time. Heal me, oh my soul, heal me. Yeah. Heal me, oh my soul, oh my soul, heal me as I let go of the worry, as I let go of the worry, as I let go of the fear, as I let go of the fear. Oh my soul, heal me, oh my soul, oh my soul, heal me into the silence, into the silence, in every way, heal me, heal me, heal me, heal me, one more time, heal me, heal me.
Through generous giving, we have the ability to give thanks for the transformation occurring in our lives. These unity teachings that are speaking to us and helping us grow and connect. As each of us joins together, giving from the heart, we have the power to strengthen this spiritual community in thriving today and encouraging transforming lives well into the future. What a difference you make in the lives of our spiritual community and our world. Whether you're donating online or sending a check to the center, please hold your gift in your heart. Let us bless our offering as we affirm, I am a channel for the flow of abundance.
I wrote this song to express that healing is a conscious path that we take, a path with no limitations, no restrictions on what's possible, a path where the uniting of our beating hearts and oneness is really what it is all about. There are no limitations, there are no restrictions. Down this path, there is only creation. There's no hidden agenda, no hold on your future. Down this path, there is always tomorrow. If you could only see what I see, if you could only hear what I hear, experience the wonder of the universe we share. If you could only know what I know, what faith and trust can only show, the rhythm of our beating hearts combined has the power to heal. Thinking and feeling, you are the gift of healing. Down this path, there is only freedom. There is no separation. Thoughts unite with emotion. Down this path, great is your future. If you could only see what I see, if you could only hear what I hear, experience the wonder of the universe we share. If you could only know what I know, what faith and trust can only show, the rhythm of our beating hearts combined has the power to heal. Oh, if you could only see what I see, if you could only hear what I hear, experience the wonder of the universe we share. If you could only know what I know, what faith and trust can only show, the rhythm of our beating hearts combined has the power to heal. If you could only see what I see, if you could only hear what I hear, experience the wonder of the universe we share. If you could only know what I know, what faith and trust can only show, the rhythm of our beating hearts combined, the rhythm of our beating hearts combined, the oneness of our beating hearts combined has the power to
We dedicate these gifts, serving and loving at the highest level in our spiritual community. We know we are divinely guided. We know that our prosperity is assured. We affirm the rich divine ideas are now ours. We know what to do, and we do it. Because we give greatly, we receive abundantly, and we are grateful. Amen. Unity Spiritual Center, we also give to several other organizations each month, and each month we select one special organization to receive 1% of our tithings. And this month it is the City Mission, and the City Mission is a Cleveland organization that encourages men, women, and children in crisis to overcome the things that led them to their homelessness and help them, overcome those challenges. So thank you for that. Thank you for joining us this morning. It's time, it's over. A special welcome to any new guests who have joined us for the first time. We're so happy that Spirit guided you to be with us today. Please come and join us again. Join us next week for our message on holy vessels safekeeping. And our soloist is going to be Karen Drecker, so always good there. And with that, we're going to give you back to Bonnie and Jerry for our closing songs, and we'll see you next week. Take care. Be blessed.
I love those words, I choose. And even though our spiritual practice was about our health and choosing healthful things that enhance and support the life of God in us, I love that word, I choose. And I'm going to take that with me through this week. And I'm inviting you to stand up right now and say that together. I choose to be the peace that I want to see in the world. As we close our service today, please join me. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be, with God as creator, family all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. I'm the light of God. I'm the light of God. I am the love of God. I am the power of God. I am the presence of God. Wherever I am, God is. And you are that light too. You are the light of God. You are the love of God. You are the power of God. You are the presence of God. Wherever you are, God is. We are all the lights. We are the light of God. We are the love of God. We are the power of God. We are the presence of God. Wherever we are, God is. And all is well. And take that light and that knowing out in the world this week and choose to be the light of God expressing. Have a great week.